Hey, SB Creations, how are you? Let me know if you can hear me. Trying a different mic than I normally use, but if you can hear me, how you doing? Hopefully the volume's okay. Like I said, different mic than I usually use for unspooled, just because I'll be moving around a bit, but so today I am officially starting the Antithesis MK3.1. It's a cool little printer. Actually just found out about it not too long ago. Killa Prince was the one who brought it to my attention, posted about it. It seemed like he's been building it for a while. It seemed cool. So I had quite a bit of the stuff to build it already. Did have to order a few custom things. Hey, Printed Vision, how are you? Welcome. Thank you for joining. We're starting a new build. The Antithesis, which is a printer that probably not a lot of people have heard about. It's a new kind of open source project. They do have a pretty good Discord, pretty good build guide. So this here is the build guide that we're going to be going through. I have obtained quite a bit of the parts. Still got some left, but I've got enough on hand at the moment to do like the first few steps. So what we're going to be doing is, so this is just the guide, kind of tells you like the type of things you can use. We're going to be building this part of it first, basically the main frame structure of it. So should be pretty good. So we'll just give it a few more minutes to see if anybody else is gonna be joining in, and then we'll get going. But how's everybody doing today? Saturday, 5:24 p.m. at least my time, Eastern time. So you guys, if you're on the West Coast, you may be a little earlier than me. So I was gonna try to start later, but I didn't want to go too late. I know there's probably some people streaming tonight. So I'm just trying not to create too much stream congestion on a Saturday evening. So we did. I did decide to go with 3D Fuels PCTG in the ruby red. So this is their transparent ruby red. So the printer itself, let's actually look at the GitHub. So most of the ones that have been built have been some variation of like just bare silver or bare aluminum framing extrusions, and then lighter colored. So I'm going a little different. I know like Killa Prince, his was like a yellowish, maybe a lime green for the printed parts, and then all aluminum or silver. And so I'm going a little bit different, going with black extrusions. These are from Misumi. So if you guys haven't used Misumi, they're pretty cool. They make some good extrusions, but the cool thing about them is that when you order them, you can get them custom cut to length. So these three pieces here were from them, and all cut to length based off the guide. You can also have them tapped. I tapped these myself versus having them tapped from Misumi. If I was going to order them again, I might just have them tapped. I did actually, there's one other 20 by 20 piece that's 172 millimeters long, which is the X part, kind of this part right here that you're seeing. I did break a tap off in that, which is kind of a bummer. So luckily I do have other 2020 extrusion plenty in stock, so I will just cut my own and then tap it again. But if I had got it tapped right from Misumi, it probably would have cost me like I don't know, $4 maybe to have both ends of it tapped. It would have just saved me a lot of aggravation. So if you don't have the stuff to tap your extrusions, or you just don't feel comfortable doing it, Misumi is a great place to order, because they can just do it for you, and it's pretty inexpensive. So with this build, so this here is kind of this upright or this horizontal piece here, which the bed rides on. So this is kind of like an upside down Core XY. So the Core XY is on the bed instead of the gantry. So it's a little different, kind of interesting. So this piece here, this did have to be, this was tapped on both sides, all four. I believe the back I actually didn't have to tap, but I did anyways. This one here is a 2040 for the upright, the back part that holds the Z axis. So this is 2040, and this only has to be tapped on the top, both on the top to hold the top of the Z, the wobble X that this uses to hold the X-axis. So bottom does not have to be tapped, and then this piece here basically just goes perpendicular to the bottom piece of the frame for the feet, and it's kind of this piece here, and it uses this bracket. So this is not a kit printer, so if you want to do this, they are working, I believe they're working on a version of this that is basically all printed. You could print these, right? So these are the brackets that are in the photo here. Let's go back to the directions. So there are these here. They kind of hold the whole X upright. You could technically print these, right? It's being held with like 8 T-nuts and M5 bolts. So even if you printed these, if you printed them, solid, they're 5 mil thick, I think. It'd probably be plenty stable enough. So anything in here you could, like even this here, I mean, this bolts here and holds the feet. So if you printed this, it would probably be stable enough. You might get a little bit of wobble, who knows, but you could easily mod this part to have a little bit more strength to grip onto like the side of the extrusion here, and then down the side of the extrusion for the legs. So the design of this printer would lend well to being fully printed. But I did order these. I ordered all of the bracketry from Sencut Send. I did have them. They cut them and then they tumbled them to deburr everything. So I think it costs marginally more per thing, like a few dollars more per part to have them tumbled. So I just did that. I have a few other parts here that you'll see in subsequent builds when we get further down into it. Some more aluminum parts to go with it. So we'll just basically dive into it. The only other thing that you need for this part of the build are, and technically you only need one of these, but I did two. So these are guides for mounting the MGN 12 rail to the extrusion. So this is a little bit different where because it's a 40/40 extrusion, the linear rail sits on the left side here. So this kind of clamps down on top and holds it and sets it where it needs to be before you tighten it down. So all right, let's go down through. So it's a pretty decent guide. I will say for as kind of new as this printer is and this project is, they've got a pretty substantial guide. So it gives you everything you need for your hardware, all your printed parts. The GitHub has all of the book of materials, all the printed parts. It's pretty easy to go through and make sure that you have everything. And then it'll tell you metal brackets. they do have some stuff in here we go down through where it'll say like metal parts or printed parts. Just not everything yet is designed for specifically printed parts. But so here it looks like we're going to need 16 5mm by 10. Let me get some of this stuff out of the way here. So I think I have everything we need for hardware, but so M5 by 10s. So, and this does, they have these, they do have these set up for stamped T-nuts. So if you look here, these are like stamped T-nuts, or if you get, what are they, maker beam extrusions that are not these are not like V-wheel extrusions. These are just, they're Misumi, so they're just made for, you can basically use any type of T-nut. So I'm just using kind of what I have, and these are just like the standard slot-in, twist, inexpensive T-nuts, and should be fine. But the stamped ones are a little bit, I think, a little nicer. But we're gonna use what we have. So the whole point of this was for me to kind of try to build it based off what I had in stock, other than like the send cut send and like the custom extrusions. I actually did have all the extrusions. I could have just cut them all, but I wanted to try Misumi. I had never actually ordered from them, so it was pretty easy. They came quick too. I think when I ordered the extrusions came in before the send cut send parts did, and I think I ordered them right around the same time. So it was like at least I probably got them in like 6 to 7 days, which is pretty good because they're cutting the extrusions. I didn't have them tapped. If I had them tapped, maybe it would have taken a little longer. But so is anybody else working on some cool projects? I know I haven't talked about this on Unspooled yet, just because we've actually, before I get too far into this, make sure I got make sure I'm putting them all on the right side. So this is gonna sit like this. So okay, so that one's good, and then this one's gonna sit like that. So we want to be threading them through this way. I haven't talked about the antithesis much, maybe at all, I don't know, on Unspooled. So that's, it's funny you said that, Printed Vision. I don't know. So this is I did mod, let me grab this here. I did mod the electronics box. So this is the electronics enclosure. I did mod it to make it longer. And I modded it to use the SKR Pico and a Raspberry Pi, the 02W. You could use a regular 0, but the 2 has a little bit more oomph and tends to run Clipper better. And then this part here is actually gonna, the reason why I actually modded this, one for this, because the electronics enclosures that come with it, or that they have designed, are for either the Big Tree Tech, Manta, the M5P, or I think somebody did mod for the SKR Pico, but it was a little bit different design than this. And then there's a couple other boards that they have for it, but their enclosure is a little bit smaller, and it's to be used with an external power supply. So I'm going to be mounting an internal power supply, the same Meanwell that is used on the positron, because I wanted everything contained inside. So this is all set up right now for Clipper. I've got it all configured and everything, and it's ready to go for Clipper. But I've actually been wanting to do a rep wrap thing. I have an M5P. I'd have to check. I think you can run rep wrap on that. I don't know if you can with the Pico or not. It's been a while since I've looked into that, but I believe I have a Duet 3 Mini around here somewhere, and I might actually redo this if I decide to do rep wrap. But right now it's gonna be Clipper, but I think rep wrap would be fun. So if you guys are following Additive Adams Twitch stream lately, he got the Daedalus printer from Joel Telling, and that runs rep wrap. That has Duet hardware in it, and that came like that when you bought it, and he's liking it. And I do like rep wrap, like the online configurator, I guess, the configuration tool is really nice, and it uses it's called a config.g file, if I remember right, instead of a printer.cfg. But it's cool because it doesn't have to be compiled like Marlin, so it's easy to make changes on the fly, similar to Clipper. So, but I do like the way that rep wrap is set up. Like the web GUI for it is really nice. The screen layout for it, if you put a screen on the printer, is really nice. So I do like that. So I don't know. We may go rep wrap, but so let's see if we can get this kind of in there. Move some stuff out of the way. Got a mess going already. So I'm not going to tighten this up too much. I'm just going to kind of snug it up a little bit. So I do have to, and the reason why I'm not going to build number one. Hey Polymorph, how are you? Welcome. So I'm not very creative when it comes to my setting up my naming schema thing. Like someone joked around with me like, oh, you must, because I've had so many printers and I have so many printers, they're like, you must have cool names for your printers and everything. And I don't. My printers are named, number 1, number 2, P1S number 1, P1S number 2. So this is the Antithesis MK3.1 build number 1. So I don't know how many streams it's going to take for me to build this. It's going to be a few, just because, see what I did? I put that on backwards already. It is going to take me a few, just because I am still waiting on some parts. Like I thought I had a Fadis conch, because I am going to use a Fadis conch hot end for this. So they do have it set up for like a Fadis conch, or I think a Slice Engineering's Mosquito, I believe. But I am gonna use the conch. I thought I had one in stock, but I didn't. So Prince Harry. See, I should probably be a little bit more creative in that. Like, I know like a lot of people have, and a lot of really cool names. And look, see, I did. I put those all in backwards, which is what I was trying not to do. So the hot end is going to be the Fadis conch plus, the one for the X1. So the design for, they have already, well, actually let me show you the hot end. I have the tool head somewhat set up. So this is what it's going to be. So this is like the 2020 extrusion. The upright goes in here, so it holds like this. But yeah, so this is actually the Peopoli Lancer. So this is off the Magneto. I picked this up last year at 3D Printopia. So it's got the nice unload, load buttons. But so this, they have it set up for either the Bondtech LGX or an orbiter. But they were using the LDO orbiter. I already had this in stock, so I did have to mod this tool head mount to fit it, just because this is a little wider. But this is already all set up for the Phaetus Conch and Peopoli Lancer, which is their version of the Orbiter V2. So that's what it's gonna be. But yeah, it was fun. I've actually, like I said, I've been trying ever since I picked that extruder up last year, which literally last 3D Printopia. I've been trying to figure out something to put it on, and I just haven't had the right printer or right project to put it on, and until this one, so it's perfect. But all right, so now I need it to go this way. The only problem with T-nuts is that if you're not paying attention like I wasn't, and you go through and you put like all these bolts and T-nuts in, having to like go through and redo them all is kind of a pain. I thought about like pre-stream putting all these on there, but then I was like, geez, that would kind of defeat the purpose of a build stream and chatting while I put this little baby together. So this should be, from what I've seen from Killa Prince build, I think he's like tuning it right now. I have seen it moving. He's got some, I think he's streamed it on his YouTube channel. But it's quite a capable little thing. It should be fast. I am using all LDO superpower motors, and the reason why I'm using these is I have them. I've got a ton of them, so I'm going to use them. And I may at some point. This is going to be 24 volts. It's not going to be like blazingly fast, but at some point I may, if I can get a good power supply and still keep everything internal, I mean, I may bump this up to 20 or 48 volt at some point, and really crank it up. But we'll see. For now, I'm just kind of going stock with it. Other than the T-nut ASMR, is it all like clunky with me? Like I have about the least steady hands ever. So is it all like me clamoring around, clunking on? I don't even know if you if you guys can hear it. I am using instead of my mic that I use on Unspool, I'm using my headset with my mic, because I'm moving around a lot, and I didn't want to inadvertently pull away from the mic so you guys couldn't hear me. But so that's kind of the first step, right? So we've got these brackets on, so that this here, the 2040, is going to be slid down through there. But that's the first step done. All right, let's go on to the next. Like I said, they do have a pretty good. There are some points where it kind of might need another step, and I'm trying to note that down so that in their Discord I can, I can help them, make the PDF better. But it's really good, I have to say. For as early of a build or a project this is, they've done good. My motor skills. Are my motor skills bad? So yeah, so this here is, I think I said earlier in the stream, this is 3D Fuels transparent ruby red PCTG, right? So the whole printer, all of the parts are in the ruby red PCTG, and this is transparent. All these parts are printed with like 4 or 6 walls depending on what the part is, so you can't like see through. If you look close under lighting, you can actually see through. It's all gyroid infill, just because that's what I like. And when you transparent, you can kind of see through it. It's nice. And then the tool head, which you saw, that's all printed in, like, so the black parts on that, that's all printed in West 3D's Ambrosia PC carbon fiber. So they're polycarbonate carbon fiber. And then the electronics case is just, that's really kind of like a test print. So right now it's printed in just Polymaker PLA, but Elegoo's PLA. And then, but I am going to get some ESD filament for that and print that out of just black ESD. So, but I didn't have any. Thought I had some, but kind of Iron Man-ish. So yeah, so this is the next. This is kind of a standoff that sets in here, and what that does is kind of give you your height for your upright, your 2040. So we need, for that, we need 2 M5x10s, which is good, same size we've been working on. And those just slide down in there. Make sure I get it in there right. Try to make sure I don't, I have a tendency when I'm building, I'll like pull stuff close to me. And then when I do that, you guys can't see it. So I have to remember to like keep everything under the camera. But, oh, it's hard to get the, I'm gonna have to use the driver to keep the, come on. It's hard to thread that on there. But yeah, they it's a well-designed printer. The two people that are designing it, I think there's like co-founders, co-designers. If you look, I'll in the description of this video, and I should have done it before. I'll put their, actually give me a few minutes, and I'll put their GitHub, the link in chat. It's Cam and Dan the Man is what their names are in the GitHub. But so that's, or in the Discord. That's the GitHub for everything, where all the stuff is found. Let me see if I can. Yeah, I can. I'll copy the invite for the Discord, and then this is their Discord. So if you guys are interested, hop in. I know if you aren't planning on building this printer, it would just be another Discord. So some people probably aren't going to want to do it, but if you are interested, it's definitely where you want to be, because they're really good at answering questions. So this is designed to use, it's 100, the bed is 130, so it is kind of a rectangle. So when the printer sits like this, your bed is here. So it's a rectangular bed, and it's 130 millimeters by 100. So it's similar sizing to like a V0, but it's a PCB bed. So that PCB bed is ordered from PCBWay. They have the whole, you can go right to PCBWay and find it and order it. If you don't want to order 5 of them, they do have some, and Dan, I think, so Hadron is in our Unspool Discord. He is also building this, and I think Dan sent him one. So Dan has some, because when you order from PCBWay, you have to order a minimum of 5. So he does have some, and he is willing to just ship them to you. I think you basically just pay shipping and then whatever the part itself costs. But it saves you a lot of money than if you're ordering them from PCBWay, because one, you have to order multiples of minimum of 5, but then you also have to pay, like, there's a 10 or 15% tariff currently, and you know, other fees and stuff to get them here. Like, I think when I looked it up, I think it was gonna be like $97 or so for 5 of them. But like I said, it's if you just want one, they do have some, and they are willing to send them to you. So there's our, what do they call this part? They have let's see, in the build guide, I'll bring it back up here. So this is called the front, can't remember, front foot mounts, I think. Let's see what they call it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this part here, when you print it, it's called like the front foot mount. Or actually, no, that might be the actual front, but either way, none of the parts are like similar as far as when you're printing them. Like a lot of custom printers that you print, like you'll print all the parts out, and a lot of them are like really similar but different. The way that this is designed, like everything is, all the parts are different. So when you print it all out, it's pretty easy to organize all the parts. So we've got that. Now let's line up our T-nuts here, because our next step is we're going to be dropping down that. We're going to be dropping in this 2040. Now I have to make sure so that only the top has to be tapped in this, and I did not tap the bottom because I tapped these myself. If I were to get these from Misumi, you would just click. You could, I guess, have only one side tapped, but it'd be like $1 more, maybe $1 less or so. But so just make sure if you tap them yourself, you do put the right side up. I have to line up all these T-nuts. I think at some point I will probably not rebuild this, but well, probably rebuild it. I might build another one after this one, because I would like to, there's some stuff where I was like, oh, that'd be cool if I were to mod it, but I wanted to build the first one just kind of stock. So this last one here is giving me a bit of trouble. Get it down in there. Anybody else working on any builds? Any cool builds? All right, so now that's set down in there. So you do want to square this up, but you can either I think they have it set to where you'll square it once you get a little bit further along, because I'm not gonna, all this stuff isn't gonna be super tight, because at some point I'm going to back each one of these screws out, put a little bit of Loctite on it, and then tighten it back up. So right now I'm just kind of snugging it all down, but at some point we will be squaring this frame up, so that obviously everything is square. But for now I'm just going to be snugging everything down, because I believe that is done in a future step. So we're gonna follow the build guide. So is anybody in chat going to 3D Printopia? 3D Printopia is like, what, 3 weeks away now? is it so I think I leave. I think I fly out on the 26th, so that would be 20 days. But this is wild. It's gone by really fast. Like, I swear it was like 2 months ago that we were talking about 3D Printopia, or 3 months ago talking about 3D Printopia, and I was like, oh yeah, a ton of time to do everything, and then you realize real quick, like, holy crap, I only got 20 days. All right, so there's the whole initial frame. So this is a small printer, like it's, so let's see, I think once everything is done, once everything is on it, you're only gonna probably be, you're probably only gonna be, well, we're gonna have legs on it, which is gonna bring it up. So the whole thing might be like 300, even with the motor on it, it might only be about 300 mil high. I mean, obviously it's a small printer, so, but, and it should be, there are 2 versions that you can print. So the one I'm doing is the top uses the Wobble X to remove any VFAs due to any type of lead screw wobble or anything off in the lead screw. So with that, because of the Wobble X, the whole Z axis just sits down on with gravity, right? So the Wobble X is designed to have like 4 ball bearings in there that rides on with ball bearings and magnets. So that doesn't lend well to like be moving the printer around. Now I did think of designing some type of like catch or mount that I could like put something in the extrusion here and just run like a strap up over if I wanted to take it and move it, or carry it around, because it is a small printer. It's something that could be pretty mobile. But there is a version of this where you don't use the Wobble X, and you do a stationary Z-axis where it's bolted in. So, but you obviously want to make sure if you do that, you have, because this uses an integrated stepper motor with an integrated lead screw. So if you do that, you just want to make sure that it's a good quality stepper motor with the lead screw, so that you have as least amount of like wobble in that as possible. So something like the LDO version. LDO makes a few. You know, those are going to be real high quality. Then you might be okay with that. So, but I like the Wobble X, so we're going to go with that. And that's like the primary version of this printer. So I wanted to keep everything as close to stock as I can. So, all right, so we've got that in. So our next step is the MGM. So this is an MG12N, yeah, right, this here, MGN12 linear rail, and it's 100. It's short, right? So this is it here, and I think it's only like 172. I had to cut this one. 170. So it's 170 millimeters in length. So literally the carriage is almost as big as the linear rail. So the other thing with these is that they don't make they note it in the build instructions, but nobody makes a 170 millimeter MGN12. So you do have to cut these. So I did have to cut this to custom length. So that is another thing to note, that if you do build this where it isn't a kit, you are going to have to do some custom stuff with it. So like I said, if you don't order your extrusions all cut in thread in tapped, you're gonna have to do that anyways. But you know, you will have to cut some linear rails. So, all right. So we need 7, which actually, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. So we need 7 M3x8s. Hopefully, I should have plenty of those. Yep. Okay. So 7 M3, and like I said, we have these tools here to line them up, because it is not, because it's a 40/40, it is not centered. It is on the left side here. So they do have these custom tools that you print to line everything up. Screws and T-nuts installed. Make sure I use all. Got some a lot of these are like socket head, button head kind of mixed in. See if I have. Let's see. Let's do actually. I'm trying to keep everything with this build black hardware. But some of the hardware that I have is, I only have it in silver, so we might mix and match a little. I have a lot of hardware, but a lot of it's not. I have either button head or socket head cap screws. Sometimes I don't have everything in both. Most of it I do. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we are going to have to use 2. Oh, right there. And another one. I guess in the linear rail, I guess it doesn't matter really what hardware you use. You're not going to really see it. You're going to see it in like the top, but I do like to keep, like when I'm building a printer, I do like to keep the hardware somewhat uniform. Like I hate mixing. I don't know if it's like OCD, but I hate mixing like black hardware with silver hardware. I don't know why, but it's just me. These itty bitty, especially the M3 T-nuts, is probably my least favorite thing to do. Was it Printed Vision or was it Polymorph? Someone said T-nut ASMR. I was like, oh god, it's the last thing I need to be doing is ASMR. So question for people in chat. Are you guys ASMR fans? I know a lot of people are. I watch it every once in a while. It can help you, get to sleep. Kind of keep your, especially if you have a fully ADHD active brain like myself. It is sometimes therapeutic. Help you kind of settle your brain down a little. I talked to a few people about ASMR, and they're just like, they fully think that it's like full on weird, but all right, get that on. I did soak this in IPA and clean it all out, and then greased it. So I do use, just in case I do use these to grease my linear rails. So if you flip the linear rail over and through one of the bolt holes, you can just put that little tip in, squirt in some grease, and then move it back and forth, and it's a lot easier than, like, I used to just use the like the tube and just kind of squeeze it down in, but I would make a huge mess. So I am using the guides here. I believe this has to be kind of set all the way down in, but let's see. I don't think. Let's see, 7 and 3/8, which we did. T-nuts. Use the alignment tool to get it in the right position. So it does want to be on the left side. It says it's best to move the tool as close to the ends as possible. Yep. Yeah, so, but it doesn't say. Be sure to use the storage block for the carriage. If it was yeah, so I think we want to be like as close to the end of that as possible. So it doesn't say you have to be right up against this block. So, and you can always move it around. Well, I got the wrong size driver. And you could always loosen these up and move it back and forth if you have to. But so the guide here, this and then the front motor mount is what keeps the kind of in place. But just want to tighten that up, make sure it's not moving on me. Alright, so we're good there. It's not moving. And we'll go through and tighten these up. So I'm only kind of snugging these because, snugging them up because I will at some point. I do like to go through and put Loctite on everything. So I'm not going to do that while I'm streaming here just because it's awful. So at the end, I will suffer through and remove each bolt at a time, and then so I'm going to leave that one on just so I don't inadvertently knock the carriage off. Actually, here, put both on. That way it keeps it from knocking the carriage off. So I have inadvertently knocked linear rail carriages off before, and ball bearings go everywhere, and I have hand repacked bearings in one of these before, and I don't like doing it. So usually I'll probably just toss it and then grab a new one. But yeah, that is nice and smooth. All right, so next step. All right, so this is for the foot, right? So the foot goes like this. So that we need 6 M5 by 10. So we're back to the M5 by 10s. So we're gonna have 2 going down like this that are going to T-nuts catch into the foot here, the cross rail for the foot, for the feet, feet, 2 feet. So we're gonna put those facing down, and then the other, there's going to be for the bed, because the bed moves with the AB motors like Core XY. There is going to be 4 T-nuts here that catch or there's going to be brackets, but there will be, the bed moves on the X and the Y. So there's brackets and mechanism up here that and pulleys and belts, which we'll get to in subsequent streams. I do have everything to build this up until the bed. Once the last few steps is like the PCB bed, which I haven't done that yet because I might not do a PCB bed. I'm not a huge fan of PCB beds. Now, because this is so small, really doesn't matter. PCB bed is probably fine. But I may have SendCutSend cut me a custom like 4 or 5 mil bed. Or I might go like 8 mil with it, and then I'll have a friend of mine mill it out to get it as flat as possible. And then I might just do like a custom silicone heater for that versus a PCB bed. We'll see. Depending on how... Oh, actually, why did I... Yeah, so this is going to set in here. Make sure my T-nuts... Now it doesn't say, there's no like measure, that's the one thing with this guide is that there's no measurements to say how far from the end here, which I guess doesn't really matter. I mean, it's just a foot read. So I guess you could, you know, if you were real picky, you know, you could come in here and like measure it like, oh, I'm 70. So we're probably gonna be like, that's probably, you could measure it, but I'm not gonna, just gonna eyeball it because there's nothing in the directions that says that it has to be a certain distance, just in the center. And again, on stream, I'm not gonna Loctite these. Like somebody might say, like, why aren't you Loctiting any of these? I will. So when one stream is done, I will go through, because all of these bolts are accessible. Before I move to the next, on the next stream, when I go to the next step, I will remove all of these that need to be tight. I'll remove them all one by one, put Loctite on them, and then tighten them down, so that for the next stream they are good to go. But doing the T-nuts on stream is bad enough, like having to go through here and Loctite every single, plus because I'm on stream, like who knows if I messed something up and then Loctited it, and now more difficult to get undone. I don't want to worry about that. So then our feet. So these are our little feet, and again, these are, well, not the feet, these are the brackets for the feet. So they had rubber feet that I think they're just standardized rubber feet that they designed it around. I just 3D printed TPU feet because why not? And again, these are printed in 3D Fuels transparent ruby red, just like all the other parts. These are Pryline 95A TPU. What I have on hand, I have a lot of it. I really like, I'm a huge fan of Pryline's 95A. It prints really good. This stuff was a little bit wet. I did dry it a little bit before I printed it, but they're just feet, so I really didn't matter to me to dry it. Super good. So all right, so we need so M5, so M5 by, wait, yeah, 2 M5 by 16s to mount the feet. So, and again, these are going into the ends where I tapped the extrusions. Hopefully I tapped them deep enough. Okay, there's one. And at least that one I did tap it deep enough. But I would recommend, like, if you order custom extrusions from, I was kind of stupid. I was like, oh, I'm going to tap them myself. And I did end up breaking a tap off in one of them. But if you're ordering from Misumi, they're so good. Like, the service is so good that it's like, I should have just clicked the little flag. There's a flag when you order them on each extrusion that says, you know, tap both ends. And I should have just checked tap both ends, but I was like, I'll just gonna do everything myself. And then I broke a tap off. So there's a 2020 extrusion here that goes for the Z that rides here, that goes in the tool head, or that the tool head mounts to. That's the one that's in 2020 by 172 millimeter, I believe, or 182 millimeter. That's the one that I broke the tap off in, which is kind of ridiculous, but I should have just let them tap it. All right, so now, well, that was another thing too. Like it doesn't say with the feet here. It doesn't say what size screw it is. I don't think at any point the directions. Nope, never mind. I lied. Okay. So the next thing. So right here, these are the feet that I printed in TPU. So it says M5 by 16, which that seems excessive. But hey, GTR Dad, how you doing? You are recently back, right? I'm finally done spending money. Yeah, so I don't know if you want to tell people in chat what you've been up to today, but GTR Dad has been busy. Was I supposed to? Let's see. Do I put nuts down in that? I'm trying to look to see. I think I'm supposed to put yeah, I think lock nuts go down in that. Let's see. Hopefully I have some. Those are M5. Yeah. So I think I'm supposed to put, I'm gonna take that off because I think I'm supposed to put lock nuts down in there, but it doesn't say to put lock nuts in there, does it? Oh wait, what's this? It says put 2 T-nuts into the football. 1 M5 lock nut. Okay, so it does say 1 M5 lock nut, but I missed that. Ended up having some fun hanging out with Sideline. Oh yeah, cool. Sideline is a cool dude. If anybody is familiar with him, these are going to be fun to get down in here. He's a pretty cool dude. Well, and Matt spent the day with him doing some stuff. So I won't ruin it and tell anybody what you did, but if you want to, feel free. All right, so I'm going to use this driver to kind of, because that lock nut just kind of sets down in there. I'm going to see if I can. I'm going to put another bolt down in there to kind of like hold it while I screw it in. So GTR Dad did just recently get a friggin' killer deal on a Centauri Carbon, which is huge because everybody that knows me, I am a big fan of, well, now I just kind of messed that all up. I'm a big fan of the Centauri Carbon, so I love it. So now I've kind of messed this all up. I'm going to see if I can stick something down in there because the lock nut is spinning in there now. So I can't tighten it. Oh wait, did I get it? I got it. I think I got it. No, I didn't. Now I'm just trying to get it out. So this is one part that I'm not, so far on this build that I'm not. So if you look down in here, you have to put an M5 lock nut down in there. But the issue with it is that you're relying on the material to keep that, and with a lock nut, it kind of stripped the plastic out a little bit. Let's see if I can get it to bite. I don't know if it's the lock nut or if it's the part itself that is letting the lock nut slip. I'm gonna pre-thread the lock nut. Let's see if that's what's causing it. GTR Dad says he's becoming an Elegoo shill. So, you've had it now overnight, right? Is that going to fit on that? Nope. So you've had it overnight. Was it yesterday that you got the Centauri? Because my question is, what do you think so far after having it for like 24 hours, 12 hours, whatever it is? What are your thoughts, sir? Because I did talk up that printer pretty well, and I would feel pretty bad if you got that and didn't care for it. Now, by no means do I think that you got that printer because of what I said, but if I, in any way, now I just lost that. Where did it go? If I in any way influenced your decision and you hate the printer, I'm going to feel real bad about that. Had to played with it Friday a little bit. Well, I hope it treats you as well as. All right, so I'm going to try to jam it down in there. I hope it treats you as well as mine has treated me. I know there's been some mixed thoughts on it, and it seems like a lot of those are based around. All right, so now I think we're good. So a lot of those seem to be based around whether you got the updated version of the Centauri, or if you got the release one that had, oh man, we just got some massive thunder. So if I lose power, if the stream suddenly goes out, it's because I lost power and or internet, because we are getting some weather right now. It's like pouring out at the moment, like torrential, and lots of thunder and lightning. So if I do lose power and the stream drops, I will probably try to come back on if it comes back. If not, I will start again when it does. So far you like it. Definitely prints as good as the P1S. Yeah, the price is so good. Like to get a P1S or an X1C level machine, because I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's just as good as my X1C was. I actually liked my P1S better than my X1C, but the Centauri is just as good as an X1 because the prints, the quality is just as good. I find it easy to use, and it has a hardened extruder and hardened nozzles, so it can print. Even better than the P1S is it can print abrasive material, stock, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of mine. Really, really like it. I like it so much so that I have a second one, and at some point I will. So I'm using the hex driver here to kind of seat that down in. I think that's what I didn't do the first time, is it wasn't quite in out there all the way. So when I started threading the M5 bolt in, I think it started spinning. But yeah, like yeah, he said he got the new version, which I had asked you that with the brighter LEDs. Hadron's a hater. Well, Hadron did, unfortunately. So if you guys are familiar with Hadron, you probably see him in streams on Twitch. Is Stay Creeping. Stay Creeping. He unfortunately got the early version. And the only issue with that one is that like it's got a really bad like single LED below the camera versus the strip. But they did update a few other things, and he's had a few issues with his, but hopefully he can get them sorted out and ends up liking it. But I know he said he likes it, but he's just run into a few weird issues with it. But all right, so now I'm threading the feet back in. I want a button head cap. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see, how you like it long term and what you can print with it and stuff. So I do recommend. I think his name is Jesus Freak, which is kind of funny. On I don't remember if it's Printables or Maker World. I'll have to look. But it's Jesus Freak, and he did the riser that I did that has like the movable vents. I really like it. It printed really well. It printed it on the Centauri. I recommend the riser. I like it. It allows you to, similar to like the P1S, the risers for the P1Ss, it allows you to kind of loosen up the PTFE tube where it goes into the extruder. You can kind of pull it out of the cable chain a little bit, and it just gives you like a more direct path into the extruder. Like I said, I haven't had any issues feeding mine in to the extruder, but I know some people have. Like I think Steve, layer by layer, he's had a few issues feeding it in. So he, pulled the PTFE tube out, and that got a little bit better for him. So just a PSA: if you get a Centauri, you might want to do that. So this one here, I don't know how. Oh, so this is the rear foot here. So there's two slots here where you put the T-nuts, but if you look in the back, there's a little slot here where you slide like a captive nut down in there. So I'm gonna do that and see if I can actually get it in there. And I need a flashlight though, because like it's weird. Alright, so the part is just kind of fitted to have this slide in with the flat sides. And then we want... Yeah, it'll be interesting with the Centauri, with Elegoo. One, to see how the multicolor unit is when they finally release that. But the other thing will be like to see what the new thing they got coming out, which I mean we all kind of think and have heard that it's a 300 by 300 or bigger version. But I would absolutely love my sweets. I love a 350 by 350 printer, but a 300 by 300, like if I could, that would be like the smallest printer that well, no, because I build stuff like this, but as far as like my everyday printers that I use to print stuff, like that would be my smallest size printer, would be 300. I think that's like 300 is a sweet spot that I really like. All right, so which way does this go? So it goes with, okay, like that. So I'm gonna slide, and there is like little slots here that slide in, so to the extrusion as well. If I can get these to feed in. That's another thing with these, like these cheaper like old school T-nuts, not like the stamped ones or like the captive ones that come on like Voron kits that have like the bearing to hold them. These are a little bit harder to get in, and then you got to make sure that they slide just right. Oh, now I got to take the foot off because I can't get the driver in there to tighten those. All right, so they have a nice little slot here so that you can slide the driver up through the foot and get to the bolt that houses or to tighten the T-nut. I hope I'm keeping all, I hope I'm keeping this all in frame. I'm not very good with a top-down camera view. I forget where I'm at, and then so I try to like make the camera like right along this like edge of the table here, so that I figure as long as I keep it within this mat here, that I'm good. Oh, Matt, did you end up picking up any of those printers? You said you had kind of scheduled some other printer pickups when you went up to see Sideline. Curious to see if you, especially that I was curious to see if you got that lull spot, because that would be a sweet machine, because that is it does have the dual nozzle, so that would be a fun like dual material printer for printing support material for another filament. She was just curious to see if you had actually picked them up or not. So, okay, I'm going to set this like this. Make sure that carriage, I'm going to put this other one down here. That way the carriage doesn't. There we go. So now what I need to do is this is for the front feet. So I'm going to make sure that all of these T-nuts are lined up. And it doesn't say install the rubber feet. Again, does not say the distance that it's supposed to be. So I'm going to go back to like, I don't know, right about there. But the good thing is I can always loosen these up and oh, wrong. Why is that wrong size? All right, so now that that's on, I am going to just look at it real quick, and I'm going to just try to square it up a little bit. Okay, tighten that up a little too much. All right, just I lost my actual square, so I'm trusting that this bracket is actually square. Pretty sure it is, but yeah, my small square, no clue where it went. I don't know. I'm gonna have to buy another one. I have to go tomorrow to. So if anybody knows, today has been a weird day, right? So all kinds of stuff went wrong. So first, for the first time ever, I had a Milwaukee drill tap bit break off in an aluminum extrusion. Never had that happen before. Tapped, I don't even know at this point, probably thousands of taps in aluminum extrusion. Never had one break. Somebody was talking in the Unspooled Discord the other day about those breaking, and they cursed me, and the last hole that I was tapping for the Z extrusion broke the bit off. So then I had to, because the bit broke off in that, I had to take another piece of extrusion to go cut it. So I got my chop saw out, that I have a metal cutting blade in that. That's what I use to cut aluminum extrusions. And it had the wrong blade on it because I had cut some wood with it, so I had put a different blade in, cut some wood. And when I went to go take that blade out, the bolt that holds the saw blade in the chop saw rounded over. So I got irritated. The whole thing's going in the trash, or is in the trash now, because I needed to replace it anyways. It was a well-used chop saw that I've had for like 12 to 15 years maybe. So it had gotten its use, so that's gone. I did order a new one. I went up to Lowe's today and they just didn't have the one I wanted. So I did order one, and it's coming from another Lowe's, and should be able to pick it up tomorrow. So I'll have that piece cut at some point tomorrow. So, all right. So we've got a standing frame, right? So this is how big the footprint will be. So it's been a day, GTR Dad. I'm not gonna lie. I'm good now, but yeah. So this is the electronics enclosure, which actually goes like this. So it goes like that, actually this way. So it'll sit in here like this. And it looks like I am going to have to move this foot forward because I'm hitting but this sits under here like that. And I'll have a 60-20 fan here for cooling. But we have a standing frame, which is kind of cool. Yeah, about, what was it? By about 1:30, I was like, man, what a friggin' day. Like, everything just seemed to go weird. My wife was off visiting some family in southern Maine. We live kind of in central Maine. And so it was just me and the kiddo today, and he was gaming most of the days with his buddies. But yeah, it was a day. After a few things happened, then I was like, I'm going to clean the shed out, and realized that that shed that has one of my motorcycles in it, I haven't used it in a while, and went to go open up one of the drawers that are in that shed, and a mouse had created a nest in there. So cleaned that all out. Luckily there was no mouse that jumped out and ate my face, but yeah. Luckily my shop vac worked, so that didn't break. But all right, so let's try. Okay, now we're on to, this is the front piece, or the front motor mount. And what we're gonna do is get that first, because what it does recommend in the instructions is to feed the cable through now. That way, when you're, because it has a little part here for the cable to go up through, so that it doesn't pinch it up against the extrusion. So it says to like feed that through now, because help clean up the cabling. So I am gonna feed that through. And I didn't have any. I ran out of. I was gonna just put a small zip tie on this. Because I ran out of like the heat shrink to cap these. This kind of wire loom off. So I was gonna put a little zip tie there, and I'm all out of small zip ties. Another thing, right? Number 4 today. So, so this is the motor mount, right? So the motor is going to sit like this. So it says have the plug on the outside. I'm not sure, because when this goes up, yeah, the plug would hit that. So the plug does have to sit out the front. So you have this part here that actually the screws go through to mount to to the motor. So this is your tensioning. You do have to press, which I have already done, you have to press a heat press insert in there so that an M3 bolt can go through here, and that's what pulls your motor back to tighten it. This can be a machined aluminum piece. I think some, I don't know if Killer Prints did it or not, but Killer Prints, this may have been an aluminum machined piece, but I can't remember. But you can also print it too. So okay, so we'll put that on, and it says, let's see, let's put the, yeah, okay. So we need 2 M5 by 10s. Okay, so those are for down here. So there's quite a few M5 by 10s. So if you're gonna build this, make sure you stock up on M5 by 10s, because a lot of these are that. So the top part here is going to have T-nuts for the top of the extrusion, and then there's going to be 4 M5 by 10s that come through here and out and into the tapped part of the aluminum extrusion. So I wonder who else is streaming tonight. I know, like, there were a few people streaming when I started, like Mr. Excuse was streaming, the Free Heathen was streaming, Astro Canuck. There were a few other, I thought there were a couple other people streaming too, but alright, so I'm gonna fit those on. Try to make sure I don't pinch the wiring here. I want to make sure that when I'm grabbing I'm grabbing the cable here, and I'm just wiggling it back and forth just to make sure that when I put the M5 by 10s in, that I don't, when I tighten it, I don't pinch off that cable. So now those are threading right into the, I'm gonna pull that piece off. So those are threading into the threaded ends of the extrusion. Hopefully I tapped all those good, so we'll find out. I usually, when I tap extrusions, I'll usually run a bolt through them after. I did not on any of these. Luckily, they've been fine. But it is a good idea to run a bolt through whatever you've tapped, just to make sure that everything is good. All right. Why is that? So for some reason, it's not the cable. Just trying to see why this isn't setting. I think it's just bound with the bolt. So I'm gonna try to thread. I'm gonna go cross. So if you look at the bolts here, there are 4. So I'm just trying to go crisscross here, because I think it's just bound up with the yeah, it's just bound up on the 4 bolts being threaded, because it wasn't sitting flush on the extrusion, the bracket. So it is now. So it was just kind of bound up with the 4 bolts. So, but we should be good now. And like I said, I'm not tightening, just they're tight, but just hand snug. And again, these are all this is all aluminum and plastic, so I mean, you're not gonna put a ton of force on these anyways, but you'll crack the parts or strip out the tap aluminum. So just hand tightening, because I'm gonna come back through and okay, good. So now the cable feeds nicely. So that was one thing I was worried about. I did not want to pinch that cable in any way. gonna make sure I leave enough cable. Make sure it's flat. I'm losing a little bit of my. Try to pull a little bit of this and unplug that from the motor. So I want to pull a little bit of that loom out because it's backing up a little bit on me. Which that's going to all be finished off in the end with some heat shrink. So, okay. So this here, I've got plenty of length on the motor. Okay, we're good there. So don't forget to snug up these top bolts that have T-nuts. So this front motor mount is, I mean, it's 3D printed, but it's pretty robust, and it's got six bolts holding it to that extrusion. So it's a pretty robust little printer. All right, so now that's in. Again, this has a heat press insert threaded or pressed in there. I did that prior to. That's for the tensioning bolt. So we will, and these here, they do specify button head cap, but I only have socket head cap in these ones, and it does recommend to put a washer. So if you can see, there is an itty bitty washer in there. I'm not gonna tighten this, I'm just gonna leave it, basically get it into that heat press and leave it loose. And then, so that is the, over there. So that is this here. So it's a M3x16, and then with washer, and then 4 M3x12s, and again button head cap screws they specify, but I only have socket head cap for these guys, so we need 4 of those to go down through here. And almost forgot my washers. I've got like 2 different size washers for some reason. I ordered a pack of M3 washers, and I thought I ordered them from the same place each time, but of course they came and they were different sizes. Both M3, but the outside diameter of the washer is different, and it drives my OCD crazy when I mix them up and mismatch them. So what's everybody got going on for Saturday night? Any cool streams tonight that anybody's aware of? I know a lot of people have been watching in Snapmaker Discord. They've been like, I mean, it seems like they've been doing it nonstop, but they've been streaming the U1 in their Discord, which is pretty cool. I haven't had a chance to watch any of it, but I know a lot of you guys that I talked to, like GTR Dad and a few others. I think Additive Adam. I think they were in there last night or yesterday for a bit, and the night before, I thought. But so again, I'm not gonna snug these up, because obviously once we get further into the build, these are all going to be need to be loosened in order to put tension on the belt. So I am gonna put that forward and then just hand snug that up so it doesn't move on me. And we will clip in that, and I will clean that wiring up a little bit later. But again, we've got our motor in. Again, I will put some heat shrink to clean that up, but that does move back and forth, so it's not being at all pinched in there. And it's coming out the back as they recommend, because that will go down into the electronics enclosure for wiring. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I like that they're doing that, because you know, you get to see. I mean, outside of like the beta testers or people that have one already, you get to kind of see. You get to see it in use. You know, to see how well it's printing. Are they talking? Is it just like a live stream, or are they in there talking about it as well? So I'm wondering. I would like to see if they, or I'd like to see if they're talking about any like changes that they've made, right? Like based off the beta testers. So the last thing that I need to do on this stream, so if we go forward ahead, is this part here, which is the Z-axis. I don't, because I broke the tap off in this extrusion. I planned on doing this part tonight, but I won't have the new saw to cut this extrusion until tomorrow. So this will have to hold off until the next stream. So I'll probably do this one, and so this is the Wobble X that I'll be using, and then this part is the fixed lead screw, so you don't have to use it. This here is better if you want to be able to like travel with the printer, because with the Wobble X, this whole Z-axis setup is just held on by gravity on magnets and ball bearings. Just a live stream with music, yeah. The streamer is a beta tester, I think. Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, so it looks like we're gonna square it up at that point. But I'll do, when I have this cut, I'll cut this tomorrow, and then we'll do next stream. I'll do the Z-axis, and I'll go into bed, because I have to cut this piece too. So this part here is a 15 by 15, which is a really small piece of extrusion. So I got some maker beam, and I do have to cut this too, because the only 15 extrusion that Misumi had was silver, was aluminum, and I wanted all black. So I did order some maker beam 50-15, but I do have to cut that. So I'll be cutting this one and this one tomorrow. So this here is cool. This is getting into, so these brackets again are more send cut send brackets. So this is getting into where we'll mount like our flanged bearings for our belts. This is the 50-15, which again has a MGN 9 linear bearing on the bottom, and that's basically your X. So this piece of extrusion that the bed mounts to, that's your X, and this is your Y. So this whole mechanism here is your core XY motion on your A and B motors. So it's pretty cool. So the belts wrap around the pulley here. They come through, they go this way, they go back to the rear motor here, up through, and then they tie into this printed piece here. And then it's all tensioned by this part. So it's pretty neat. I'm excited to get into that part. Like I said, I would have done the Z-axis part tonight if I hadn't have broken that tap off. But so the last thing we have to do tonight is just mount this this rear motor there. So just like the other one, there is a little slot here so that the wire doesn't get pinched. I'm gonna grab my other, so again, we are using LDO motors, superpowers. So, and again, that, make sure when you mount these that you mount the plug facing out the back, or else you can't, I mean, you wouldn't be able to mount it anyways. But so with that, we're gonna be doing, what are they, 12s? M3 by 12, where did I put those? M3 by 12s, which I am, look at that, like a million silver, and now I need black. And I think I have some blacks like buried down in here. Let's see if I have enough. 1, 2. I feel like I'm the owl off of Hey Nomad, how you doing, man? It is, right? Like, it's a weird looking proton, right? Now, I would absolutely, I still haven't built a positron, which drives me nuts. But I gotta build, I can't wait to hear about that positron. Just so you guys know, we are going to be talking with Nomad for the Unspooled chat at 3D Printopia. So we will be talking about their new project, which is going to be amazing. I can't wait. Yeah, so this is, I don't know if you're familiar with them, Nomad. I mean, I'm sure you're familiar with 3D Fuel, but this is 3D Fuel's PCTG in the transparent ruby red. So it's it will all be kind of, I will most likely at some point, all of these metal parts are from Senketsen. I probably at some point will disassemble this after getting it built, because I have a friend of mine that powder coats, and I want to have these. So these two brackets, this bracket, and then the brackets that for the X, and the two brackets that are under the bed. I want to have all those powder coated black, so that everything is black and this ruby red, and then black PC CF from Ambrosia for like the tool head. And yeah, it's a pretty cool. They've got some nice colors in there. So unfortunately, I am going to have to use silver hardware because I'm all out of the black M3 by 12s. So grumble, but I can easily swap those out once I get some black, because I did order a bunch more black button head caps, because I do prefer these to be button head caps. But oh yeah, Jesse and Ambrosia. Yeah, you can't go wrong with, I mean, Jesse PLA is good stuff. And I haven't myself tried a ton of Ambrosia, other than I print a lot of their polycarbonate carbon fiber, and I've had a few others. So I just bought from Daddy Wazzy. He printed the He-Man hair helmet thing in their Bananarama, I think it's called. So from West 3D, it's kind of like a sparkly galaxy yellow with like I guess it's like a silver. It almost look like a pearl type finish to it. Yeah, so I ordered some of that. I got all right, man. Well, thanks for swinging in. And you know what? I just realized these are not M3 by 12s. So they are not the same size as the front. And let me see if those directions, M3 by 8. So if I had read the directions, yeah, Bananarama. It's a beautiful color. The first time I had seen it was from Daddy Wazzy on that He-Man hair, and I was like, man, that friggin' yellow is something. I don't think I've ever seen a yellow like that. So M3 by 8 right there. Yeah, I do. Good. See, black button head cap. So I'm glad it was not the size screw that I thought it was. And it is a 2mm driver. So yeah, I was like missing out. And when I bought that Bananarama from them, I realized that they have a crap ton of really good colors. I'd been kind of sleeping on ambrosia filament, I guess. I print a lot of technical filament, so I'm often like whites and blacks and grays, but when I want to do when I do like custom printer builds and stuff, I get colors of like ABS and ASA, and like I'm a big fan of Polymaker's pop green ASA and then the purple ASA. I have actually 2 boxes of each of those for whatever I build next for a Voron, because that's what I'm going to use to build that. But yeah, I just been sleeping on ambrosia. I guess I didn't realize that they had so many options. So I'm just not super tight. Again, it's always a good idea to Loctite these, which I will do off stream. But for now, I'm just gonna snug them up. Oh, let's go back. Okay, I'm gonna bolt. Oh, actually, I gotta put the T-nuts on that first. So let's see, what does it say? 4. So it should say 2. Yeah, see, this one doesn't say 4, but it doesn't say what these 2 bolts are, because they should be the same as these. So M5 by 10s. So we're just gonna go with M5 by 10s. And then I'm going to set it like that, and I'm going to put a driver in there to hold these, because they are set rather far in, and makes holding the bolt for the T-nut interesting. Yeah, I will say, like, I like kits and everything, but I am a big fan of, I've always been a big fan of self-sourcing parts for custom printers. And, I did the kit when I did my 2.4, and I do like kits. They're great. It does make life easier. But this was fun to self-source. I largely had, you know what I did? I just mounted the motor before I mounted the bracket. So again, don't mount the motor before you mount the bracket, because then you can't get to the holes to mount the bracket. Another thing in the instructions, well, again, that was just me being stupid, but you should probably, for this rear bracket, throw in like another picture that says like, mount the bracket before you mount the motor, for dummies like me. Okay, so now we're gonna mount the bracket before we mount. If I can get the, let me move this stuff out of the way, move the motor, move those, just so I can So now I'm going to make sure, yeah, motor, the front motor, the A motor, moves well in there. I want to make sure I didn't pinch it. So now I'm going to thread a couple. These are M5 by 10s, same as the front bracket. Again, doesn't say in the directions, so I'm just assuming. But yeah, I wanted to have these brackets powder coated before I did any build of it, but I'm just impatient, so I'm gonna build it first and then likely disassemble the whole thing and have those powder coated and then reassemble the entire thing again. So I'll be real familiar with this printer by the time it's done, because I will build it 2 times or thrice times by the time I'm done. And then building it on stream is always interesting, because so I may actually not Loctite these until I decide to, because I should be able to easily, I can probably pull all these off. I can probably pull them off one by one and just bring them to them and be like one by one, just have them powder coat them, and that way I don't have to like disassemble the whole thing. But kind of looks like a spaceship at this point. It's kind of a funny looking printer, but when it's all said and done, I really like the way that it looks. But I think it's gonna be a fun little thing to tune, because you're really gonna be able to, I mean, it's Core XY with the bed, so you're really gonna be able to ramp up the speeds on this little puppy. So I want to see. I don't know if I'm gonna go. I probably will go for like how fast I can make the thing print. But I also want to make sure. I also want to see it print good quality, because I think from what I've seen from Killer Prints, it seems to he seems to have got it printing pretty good. So I'll have to catch. I'll have to catch his next stream on it, because I think he is streaming like some mods for it, or like the tuning part of it, which I will also do, just because I would love to see this printer have a kit that just makes it easier for people to buy and build, and it not be, incredibly expensive. But like, I think if you could have a kit for this that was like $450 minus printed parts, it'd be a pretty good deal. I would do that. I probably I'll probably have about that into this. I've got a lot of the parts I had myself, but I already had, but it's not, there are, going with like the, you wouldn't have to put LDO motors on it and stuff, but it'd be neat if LDO did a kit with this. So that is everything assembled to that point, right? So these here are just, I'm leaving on just to keep the block. It shouldn't be able to go off. I may loosen these up a little bit and even them between these two brackets, even the linear rail out. But I think we're done for tonight. We've got everything done that we wanted to. So again, the Antithesis MK3.1. Check out their check out their GitHub. I will post it again in chat before we end the stream. That is their GitHub. The other thing that I would recommend is, if you're interested, if you look at the GitHub and you realize that it is something you want to build, join their Discord. The Discord is really cool. Really, like I said, Cam, Dan the Man, Killer Prince. There's several active members in it. They'll help you out. All of them have built this. I don't know how many of these have been built. There doesn't seem to be a ton of them out there. I think that they launched this at this past Rocky Mountain or Midwest. I can't remember which one it was. So it is new, but it'll be cool to see. Be cool to see other people build one. So again, thanks guys for hanging out, and we will pick this up again. So we have Unspooled on Tuesday. We have a cool guest for that one. So if I cut the other 2 extrusions tomorrow, maybe I'll do another stream Monday night. Yeah, it's a cool build. Like I said, I like to see other people build it, and that's mainly why I wanted to build it. I liked it, but I wanted to also build it just to help kind of get the name out there, to see other people put it together. But like I said, if I get the other 2 extrusions cut, maybe I will stream again Monday night. If not, it'll probably be more like, if I don't do it Monday night, because we have Unspooled Tuesday night, it probably won't be Wednesday, because that's like my sleep day. Find more time to sleep. So it'll probably be like Thursday or Friday. But all right. I appreciate it, everybody, and I hope you have a good night. I'll probably see you in some Discord chat later this evening. Have a good night, and talk with you later.